This week on Last Weekly, the weekly show about last week. New episodes every Tuesday. Welcome back, everyone. So this week we had a lot of the usuals, as you can see from above, and instead of showing you those, I'm going to focus on some of the other things that might not have gone over, or at least not as much. And let's get into it. All right. So last week, if you remember, I was going over drawing the lines on this Tiki sign, and let's continue. And I will be cutting them out now on the bandsaw. This bandsaw blade is about a 1/4 inch wide, so it can turn but not turn as well as it should for these kinds of curves. I should have like a 1/8 blade or something, but it'll do fine. Let's speed this up a bit. Right here, I'm just trimming about 1 inch off the top to make it the size that it needs to be. And you can see by my pencil marks, there's some little like divots or chunks taken out that I want to cut out here, just to give it that distressed look still. Alright, so now we'll start prepping for the paint. First, gonna do a little basic, light sanding, just to get rid of whatever debris or whatever that's left over from the CNC. Alright, so now I'm gonna use some flat clear coat to spray it. This will lock in the grain, because the next step is going to be to paint everything black, and that'll fill in where the CNC had routed out, and then we'll sand away the top. So spraying with the clear coat, which I'll do a couple layers, will keep the black paint from soaking in too much, which makes it easier to sand off. So you can see I already started painting it black, but pretty simple, just trying to get the paint not all over the place, but just where it needs to go. This the spray can is the little spray can lid is not allowing the paint to come out quite right. You can see it's like dripping and in some cases, and not allowing it to spray in others. And now it's dry, so let's sand it off, but we're going to do it quickly. Okay, so I sort of messed up. Not a really big deal at all, but the Tiki bar should be green. So I should have covered that up instead of painting it black. But I will now cover up the Enchanted part and paint the Tiki bar part green. And yes, that means more clear coat. And I'm just laying down some masking tape just so I don't have to get too much paint everywhere else and sand it off. Just do it where I need it. And more sanding. And now we're getting towards the end, so I'm gonna add the metal accent hardware here. Adding these is actually why I had to cut off the top inch. Otherwise, these things would have been a little too short. But it's not a mistake. It was supposed to be cut down. I just left it long for the CNC. Now, always my favorite part, to take the torch and burn some areas for accents and distressing and weathering and all that. The only thing I'm not wanting to burn is around the letters, at least not too close. I want it to kind of still stand out a little bit. So you'll see that ones in the past that I've done, I burned everything and it kind of blends in. I kind of want the text to stand out here, so leave sort of white gaps, not white, but wood grain gaps in there without being burned. It gives it a better look. And then later you'll see I will darken the edges, and it just makes it all come together. And that's all the burning that needs to be done. And you can see how in the center it kind of looks like it's almost, I don't know, glowing around the text. So that's what I wanted. It doesn't blend in as much. It stands out. And now, last thing to do is give it a couple more clear coats, and this will be front and back because I think this is going outside. I'm not really sure, but either way, it'll be ready for the weather. So That's pretty much it. So I bought some sandpaper in multiple size or grits, I guess. And I'm pulling out the ones from, I think, 400 and above. And I believe these ones go up to 2,500. You'll see here in a second that I got some super glue on the acrylic, and I need to sand it off and bring it back to, kind of a shine. So I essentially need to buff it out. All right, so I'm actually starting with 800 grit, and I'm just gonna, rip off a little section of sandpaper. And you can see it down there right at the bottom where I'm sanding that there is super glue on it. So my goal here is just to not make the area much bigger. I just want to keep it in that area where the glue is, though I do make it a little bigger. I just want to try to maintain this section, and that means there's less to sand and less to buff out later. So the 800 grit didn't do enough. There's still little areas that need to be sanded down, so I'm going to start with 400 instead. And now we can see that got rid of all of the glue that was there. So now we just need to go up the grits and buff it out. And here's the last grit, the 2500. They do go higher, but that's the last one I have. Now I know what you're thinking, that there is still a visible sign of the sanding. But that's where this comes in, little scratch repair kit. It came with this little rag to work into compound, but it kind of was sticking to the letters too much, so you'll see here I'll switch to the Dremel in a moment. But you can already see that it works pretty well. I mean, that scratch is almost gone. So now I have putting more of the compound down, and then I'm going to use the little buffing wheel on the Dremel. So before I turn on the Dremel though, I just want to spread around the compound so it doesn't like spray everywhere, I guess. And now I'm just going to use a microfiber cloth and, wipe down all the fingerprints and any extra residue that's remaining. And now I'm just gluing up some wood, 2 pieces of wood to make a wider board. This is going to be used for a National Parks service sign. This is just the glue up and some sanding. You're going to see the CNC part next week. So now I'm just using my finger to spread out the glue so it's covering the whole edge, which, will help make it stick better. And usually there's some glue that always squeezes out, so just trying to get that up as much as I can. And now this is the next morning, and I'm going to take off the clamps and sand it down a bit. And as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and until next time.